Good morning, everybody. I'm Jayne, Merner, Senecal from Earth Care Farm, and everybody kind of covered the last 10 years pretty well, so I'm just going to go off the cuff a little bit and kind of pan out, thinking back to actually the 70s, where there was a lot of old-time farmers composting then, and a lot of them have sort of been forgotten. I know my dad learned from older farmers on how to compost way back then, and kind of kept his composting facility growing over the next 20 years from the 70s to the 90s. And then it wasn't until the 90s, till 1998, that the DEM decided, well, we really need to register compost facilities, just like they're starting with anaerobic digesters now. So in 1998, I know that my dad kind of helped work for the DEM to get that wording in place, and we proudly display our permit number 001. And hopefully we're getting up so that there's actually, like, you know, those 3 digits are in the hundreds now. It's really exciting to see a lot more facilities coming on board. So you guys kind of covered, I was going to go through again the food scrap bill. That was really exciting to have signed. Governor Chafee came down at the time, he was the governor, and signed at our farm. And but I think kind of panning out a little more, where's the next steps? We've sort of covered that last 10 years, and we've got those. There's always that bell curve as something new is picking up momentum. I think about like the cell phone in the beginning. There's a few early inventors that are really excited. They'll stand in line to get that first model, and that's like the Mike Merners of the compost world. And then it takes a lot to go up that hill to get that momentum going. And we've seen it in fits and starts kind of gaining momentum. And then once you get to that 17% of people understanding how exciting some new innovation is, it really just becomes a locomotive, and that engine keeps coming. So we're in that right now. I think we're at that tipping point where the public is excited about composting. And we need to be really careful in these next steps. I was just thinking about, I actually studied economics, which is a funny thing. And it's actually the science of decision making. And it's not as money-based as what many people think. It's how do we make decisions? And most people, especially the younger generation, are not motivated by money. They're motivated by meaning and what brings value to their lives, and it could be in a whole different sense. It's enjoyment and feeling good about where the world is going and the future. And so we need to be careful about wording. I think that I would like to see a language shift in the compost industry and stop talking about food waste. This is food scraps. This is a resource. These are resources. It's not yard waste. These are yard materials. They're resources that we're turning into something more valuable. The entire industry, we need to be really careful about this, because if we continue to consider this waste, that is what we're going to end up with at the end. We're going to end up with a waste product, another problem down the line. So I just really want to emphasize language at this point is going to be important for us, and keeping positive in the public eye. There's different images, like, as we know, a farm has you picture this old McDonald's farm as this beautiful place, and then sometimes the reality of a farm is not what people are envisioning in their mind. And a compost site is very similar. It can be actually an inspiring place, and it can look really pretty awful. And very quickly, people's public opinion about composting can change if there's odors and traffic and litter in the compost, and it can become a dangerous place. There can be fires. So at sites when the material gets too hot and not well managed. So I just want all the new composters to be really careful in these next step forwards of reaching out to the public. If we can connect to this generation. One of my favorite things is having tours at the farm and really connecting people to, why are we doing this? We're doing this, it's not to divert waste. I mean, that is a part of it, and maybe for some people it is. But what's the end? Why are we doing that? Why are we diverting waste? We're creating another product. We're creating something to amend our soil. And we're doing that because healthy soil is what makes healthy plants. We need to eat these healthy plants so that we can be healthy humans and create a climate that can handle the changes going on in the world. we really are at the forefront for curbing climate change through composting. It's a pretty straightforward set of steps. So being clear about that messaging to the public, I think, is going to continue that momentum so that we're just a locomotive. So it's, by my son's, when his grandchildren are here, all of the kids will be composting. It will be no big deal. It'll be just a second nature. Make it part of who we are. So that's the next 100 years of composting.